In the cold, unfeeling void of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire was an unstoppable force. For centuries, it had expanded its iron grip, annexing planets, enslaving populations, and crushing resistance with overwhelming firepower. The Empire's starships, massive behemoths capable of blotting out suns during planetary blockades, struck fear into the hearts of every species. Its leader, Emperor Zarkin IX, was a tyrant whose cruelty and cunning were matched only by his insatiable ambition. Among the myriad species the Empire had conquered, humanity was barely a speck on the galactic radar. A young and brash species, humans had only recently achieved faster-than-light travel. Their presence on the interstellar stage was still considered an anomaly by more established civilizations. To the Empire, humanity's defiance was as laughable as it was irritating. It all started when an Imperial envoy arrived at the Sol system, representing Emperor Zarkin. The envoy delivered the Empire's standard ultimatum: surrender unconditionally and provide tribute or face annihilation. The tribute demanded was exorbitant. Trillions of credits, rare minerals from Earth, and even a portion of humanity's population to be conscripted into imperial servitude. The United Federation of Humanity, UFH, a fragile coalition formed to unite Earth's nations in the face of extraterrestrial threats, convened to discuss the ultimatum. The meeting took place aboard the Resolute Endeavor, humanity's only fully operational interstellar command ship. Its crew consisted of representatives from all corners of Earth, reflecting the diversity and tension of the planet they sought to protect. President Mei Liao, the recently elected leader of the UFH, stood at the head of the table in the ship's dimly lit war room. The walls were adorned with holographic projections of Earth and the surrounding star systems, while the room buzzed with activity from aides and military advisors. The air was thick with tension. Admiral Amina Singh, commander of Earth's nascent space fleet, broke the silence. "Let me be blunt," she said, her voice carrying the weight of a career spent defending Earth from smaller, less advanced threats. "We cannot fight them. Their fleet outnumbers ours 100 to 1. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. And their weapons," she trailed off, shaking her head. "We don't stand a chance in open combat." General David Hayes, head of planetary defenses, leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "Then we surrender," he said flatly. "We offer the tribute, keep our heads down, and hope they leave us alone." "No," President Liao interjected firmly. "If we surrender now, we lose everything. Our freedom, our future, our identity as a people. We fought too hard to unite this planet. I won't let some galactic bully strip us of what little we've built." Ambassador Luca Moretti, ever the diplomat, chimed in. "We could negotiate. Offer them a smaller tribute. Perhaps they'll see reason." Admiral Singh scoffed. "The Empire doesn't negotiate. They demand, and you comply or you die." The room fell into a heavy silence. The weight of the decision bore down on everyone present. Humanity was at a crossroads, and the stakes had never been higher. As the debate raged on, a young communications officer burst into the room, holding a datapad. "Madam President, you need to see this," he said, breathless and wide-eyed. "What is it?" Liao asked, motioning for the officer to approach. The officer handed her the datapad, which displayed a flurry of activity from Earth's social media networks. In response to the Empire's ultimatum, humanity had taken to the internet, not to plead for mercy, but to ridicule the invaders. Memes, jokes, and satirical videos flooded the communication channels. One particularly popular meme showed a crudely drawn stick figure, labeled Humanity, flipping off a massive Imperial starship. The caption read, "Your move, losers." Another video featured a montage of humans mock panicking over the Empire's threat, interspersed with clips of mundane activities like cooking dinner or walking dogs, accompanied by upbeat music. The president frowned. "What is this?" "Earth's response," the officer said. "It's a bit unconventional." Ambassador Moretti groaned, burying his face in his hands. "This is a disaster. They'll see this as an insult, a declaration of war. General Hayes chuckled despite himself. Well, it's certainly not boring. Admiral Singh leaned over to glance at the datapad. Wait a minute, she said, narrowing her eyes. The galactic network is public, right? This stuff is spreading far beyond Earth. The young officer nodded. Yes, ma'am. It's trending on galactic channels. Other species are picking it up and sharing it. For a moment, no one spoke. Then President Liao's expression softened. This might be the only thing we have going for us, she said, her tone thoughtful. Mocking them? Moretti asked incredulously. That's our strategy. Think about it, Liao said. We can't match their firepower. We can't outmaneuver their fleet. But what if we can outthink them? If we turn this into a psychological battle, we might have a chance. Ambassador Moretti shook his head. This is madness. Madness, Liao replied, is the one thing they won't be prepared for. Over the next few days, the UFH's war room shifted from traditional military strategy to something far more unorthodox. Leveraging the creativity and irreverence of Earth's population, they amplified the flood of digital content mocking the Empire. The memes became more elaborate, the jokes sharper, and the satirical videos more absurd. One viral hit depicted Emperor Zarkin as a cartoonish villain repeatedly tripping over his own cape. Another showed an Imperial starship being chased by a flock of Earth geese, with the caption, "The true terror of the galaxy." Meanwhile, alien species across the galaxy began to notice. Many, themselves victims of the Empire's tyranny, found humanity's defiance inspiring and hilarious. For the first time, the Empire's fearsome image began to crack. The galactic network was overwhelmed with content, much of it spreading faster than the Empire could suppress. Within days, even the Emperor himself became aware of the situation. In his grand throne room aboard the Imperial flagship, Zarkin glared at the holographic projection of a dancing banana that had somehow infiltrated the Empire's internal communications. What is this nonsense? Zarkin roared, his voice echoing through the chamber. Grand Vizier Threx, his spindly form trembling, hesitated before responding. Your Majesty, it appears to be a cultural phenomenon from the humans. Delete it, Zarkin ordered. Purge their data. Crush their world. But it was too late. The galactic network was abuzz, and the Empire's reputation had taken a significant hit. Other species began to question whether the all-powerful Empire was truly as invincible as it claimed. Back on Earth, humanity braced for retaliation. Yet even as the Empire's fleet approached the Sol system, the memes kept coming. For better or worse, humanity had made its stand, not with weapons but with wit. The Galactic Empire was renowned for its ruthlessness and efficiency, but it had never faced anything like humanity. As the deadline for surrender approached, Earth's response, chaotic, irreverent, and absurd, spread through the galaxy like wildfire. The rise of mimetic warfare. Humanity's initial response to the Empire's ultimatum was far from traditional. While the United Federation of Humanity, UFH, scrambled to prepare what little military resources they had, the people of Earth flooded the galactic network with a deluge of memes, jokes, and videos. What started as a grassroots effort quickly snowballed into a global phenomenon. One viral post showed a stick-figure astronaut holding up a middle finger to an approaching starship with the caption, "Greetings from Earth. No refunds, no surrender." Another depicted an Imperial starship edited to look like a children's toy, with Earthlings pretending to fix it with duct tape. Even high-ranking Imperial officers were not spared. Their official portraits were remixed into absurd caricatures, complete with clown noses and captions mocking their names. At first, humanity's own leaders were unsure whether this cultural eruption was an asset or a liability. Ambassador Moretti, ever the voice of caution, argued against antagonizing the Empire further. "This is like poking a sleeping bear with a stick," he warned during a high-level UFH meeting. "Do you know what happens when you poke a bear? It eats you." President Mei Liao, however, saw an opportunity. We can't match them in firepower, she argued. But maybe we can use this to throw them off balance. Confuse them. Distract them. They've never dealt with anything like us. Admiral Amina Singh, though skeptical, reluctantly agreed. If we're going to fight a losing battle, we might as well fight it on our terms. With the UFH's tacit approval, Earth's informal mimetic insurgency was elevated to a legitimate part of their resistance strategy. The UFH's modest propaganda department rebranded itself as the Department of Galactic Cultural Affairs and began coordinating efforts to ensure maximum visibility for Earth's digital assault. Their unofficial motto, if we're going down, we're going viral. The Empire's growing frustration. Across the galaxy, the Empire's fearsome reputation began to falter. Videos mocking Emperor Zarkin IX went viral on countless alien worlds. In one popular clip, a human comedian impersonated the Emperor's booming voice, shouting "I demand tribute," while tripping over his own ceremonial robes. The Galactic Network was soon awash with Zarkin memes, many featuring captions like "When you're mad but still waiting for your coffee." The Galactic Empire, a machine built on fear and control, struggled to counter the phenomenon. Their propaganda division attempted to release solemn declarations, warning the galaxy about humanity's disrespectful and primitive nature. These attempts backfired spectacularly, as human netizens gleefully edited the declarations into comedic skits. On the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion, Emperor Zarkin himself was apoplectic. In the vast, gilded throne room, he stood before a council of advisors, his holographic visage flickering with rage. "Explain this nonsense," Zarkin bellowed, gesturing toward a projection of himself dressed as a jester in a human-made video. "How are we losing control of the Galactic Network to a species that still uses combustion engines?" Grand Vizier Threx, a wiry figure with a perpetually nervous demeanor, stammered as he attempted to provide answers. "Why, Your Majesty, it seems the humans have weaponized humor. Their cultural output is flooding our systems faster than we can contain it. It's unorthodox, to say the least." "Unorthodox?" Zarkin's voice echoed through the hall. "It's an insult to the Empire. These creatures dare to mock us, me. Prepare the fleet. We will crush their planet and obliterate this farce." The fleet's mobilization was swift, but the Empire's confidence was already shaken. As news of humanity's defiance spread, alien civilizations began to take notice. Many of these species had endured centuries of subjugation under the Empire, their spirits crushed by the relentless march of imperial dominance. Now, for the first time, they saw a species standing up to Zarkin, not with weapons, but with laughter. The meme that changed the galaxy. The most famous piece of content to emerge from this digital resistance was a video titled "An Open Letter to the Empire." It began with a montage of humans engaged in mundane activities, cooking breakfast, walking their dogs, playing video games, set to the upbeat tune of an ancient Earth song. As the video progressed, the tone shifted to highlight humanity's resilience, creativity, and defiance. The video concluded with a simple message: "We might not have your fleets, your weapons, or your technology, but we have each other. And we have memes. So come and get us." The video was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, blending humor with an undercurrent of defiance that resonated across species. Alien populations, long silenced by the Empire's tyranny, began sharing the video en masse. On dozens of Imperial-controlled worlds, underground resistance movements adopted Earth symbols and slogans, using human memes as rallying cries. For the first time, Zarkin's empire faced an existential threat not from rival fleets or planetary rebellions, but from an idea that spread like wildfire across the galactic network, eroding the fear that had kept the Empire in power for so long. The Empire strikes back. Despite the growing unrest, the Empire's military juggernaut pressed forward. As the massive Imperial fleet entered the Sol system, humanity braced for annihilation. The UFH scrambled every available asset, positioning their ragtag fleet of retrofitted cargo ships and aging frigates in a desperate attempt to defend Earth. On the surface, citizens prepared for the worst. Evacuation drills were conducted, and underground shelters were reinforced. Yet, even as the looming threat of destruction hung over the planet, humanity's mimetic resistance did not waver. As the Imperial fleet neared Earth, they encountered the first wave of human ingenuity. Holographic projections in orbit, broadcasting memes and videos directly into their targeting systems. One particularly disruptive projection featured a dancing banana singing an ancient Earth tune, a sight so absurd that it caused several Imperial pilots to momentarily lose control of their ships. Confusion spread through the fleet. "Is this some kind of psychological warfare?" one pilot asked, staring at the holographic banana. It's a joke," another responded, bewildered. The Empire's meticulous battle plans were thrown into chaos. Orders were delayed as Imperial officers struggled to make sense of the bizarre resistance. Meanwhile, Earth's defenders exploited the confusion, launching hit-and-run attacks that inflicted surprising damage on the disoriented fleet. The power of laughter. As the battle for Earth unfolded, the galactic network continued to buzz with activity. Alien species across the galaxy watched in awe as humanity held its ground, not just with technology, but with sheer audacity on dozens of planets. Spontaneous uprisings erupted as oppressed populations took inspiration from Earth's example. One rebel leader, a grizzled warrior from the reptilian Varnak species, summarized the sentiment in a transmission broadcast galaxy-wide: "If these fragile, short-lived humans can laugh in the face of the Empire, why can't we?" Back aboard the resolute Endeavor, President Liao received word of these uprisings. She turned to her council, a rare smile breaking through the tension. "They underestimated us," she said. "And now the whole galaxy is laughing with us." The Imperial fleet loomed above Earth like a wall of doom, its vessels vast and ominous, shimmering with weapons powerful enough to vaporize continents. It was an unstoppable force, marching toward an inevitable clash with what the Galactic Empire believed to be a fragile, primitive species. Yet, in the face of annihilation, humanity refused to cower. Instead, they laughed. The battlefield of absurdity. As the Imperial fleet prepared to commence its assault, Earth's defenders launched their countermeasures, both military and digital. While the UFH's fleet engaged in daring hit-and-run attacks, Earth's greatest weapon was unleashed: Project Cosmic Prank. The brainchild of the Department of Galactic Cultural Affairs, Project Cosmic Prank was a coordinated digital and psychological warfare operation unlike anything the galaxy had seen. It began with a transmission that hijacked the Empire's communication systems, replacing standard fleet orders with a looping video of a cartoonish chicken performing a dance. "Commander, our targeting systems are being overridden," shouted an Imperial officer aboard the flagship Eternal Dominion. "Override them," barked Admiral Harkon. "We're trying, sir, but it keeps redirecting us to..." The officer gestured helplessly as the chicken danced across their holographic interface. Meanwhile, Earth's defenders deployed holographic decoys and drones programmed with absurd imagery, creating chaos among the Empire's pilots. Giant projections of laughing human faces filled the void of space, while smaller drones zipped through the fleet, displaying random images of cats in hats and ancient Earth comedians. "Is this some sort of primitive war ritual?" a bewildered Imperial officer asked, watching as a holographic projection of an elderly human shouted, "Get off my lawn," in a loop. The galactic echo. While the Empire struggled to adapt, Earth's resistance gained momentum beyond the battlefield. On countless Imperial-controlled worlds, oppressed species tuned into humanity's broadcasts. They saw a species that, against all odds, refused to bow. They saw courage, defiance, and most importantly, they saw hope. Inspired by Earth's audacity, revolts broke out across the Empire. On the industrial planet Krelos, enslaved workers sabotaged their factories, chanting human slogans. On Farlix Prime, a group of rebels projected Earth's memes onto the Imperial Governor's palace, mocking the authorities in the same irreverent style. Even within the Empire's ranks, cracks began to form. Low-ranking officers, exposed to the human broadcast, Started questioning their orders. Why are we even doing this? Muttered one Imperial pilot as he watched a holographic squirrel hurling acorns at an animated Emperor Zarkin. The turning tide. Back in Earth orbit, the UFH's fleet continued to punch above its weight. Though vastly outnumbered, humanity's ingenuity and unpredictability allowed them to exploit the Empire's confusion. Admiral Amina Singh directed her ships with precision, using decoys and hit-and-run tactics to frustrate the Imperial forces. The UFH flagship Resolute Endeavor led the charge. Its bridge was a hive of activity as Admiral Singh President Mei Liao and their crew worked in unison. "Admiral, their formations are breaking down," reported Lieutenant Kwan, her hands dancing across the console. "Good," Singh replied, her voice steady. "Keep them on their heels, deploy more decoys, and target their supply ships. If we can cut off their reinforcements, we might stand a chance." President Liao watched the battle unfold, her expression a mix of determination and pride. "Every minute we hold them here is another minute for the galaxy to see their weakness." The Emperor's rage. Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Emperor Zarkin IX was livid. His throne room, typically a place of calculated intimidation, was now in disarray. Holograms of Earth's memes flickered on the walls, projected by hackers who had breached even the Empire's most secure systems. "Shut it off," Zarkin roared, his voice trembling with fury. "Were you trying?" "Your Majesty," stammered Grand Vizier Threx. "But their digital warfare is unlike anything we've encountered." Zarkin slammed his fist onto the armrest of his throne. "Enough of this farce. Deploy the planetary annihilation cannon. I will turn their insolent world into dust." The crew hesitated. The annihilation cannon was the Empire's ultimate weapon, capable of erasing a planet from existence. Yet, as they prepared to fire, a new transmission interrupted their systems. This time, it was not a meme or a joke, but a direct message from humanity. The message that changed everything. On screens across the galaxy, President Mei Liao appeared. Her tone was calm but resolute, her words carrying the weight of humanity's collective will. To Emperor Zarkin and the Galactic Empire, she began. "We are not afraid of you. You may have weapons that can destroy our planet, but you will never destroy our spirit. For centuries, you have ruled through fear. But fear only works as long as we believe you are invincible. Today, the galaxy sees the truth. You are not invincible. You are vulnerable. And your greatest weakness is our strength, unity, creativity, and an unshakable belief in freedom." Her message resonated far beyond Earth. Across the galaxy, oppressed species rallied behind her words. On the Empire's own worlds, dissent grew. Even within the fleet, some officers hesitated, questioning whether they could continue serving a regime so openly mocked and defied. The collapse of control. As the UFH's fleet continued its resistance, reports of rebellions flooded the Imperial communications network. Zarkin's advisors urged him to retreat, warning that the situation was spiraling out of control. "Your Majesty," Grand Vizier Threx pleaded, "if we continue this campaign, we risk losing not just this battle, but the entire empire. The galaxy is turning against us." Zarkin's face twisted with rage, but even he could not ignore the growing evidence of his crumbling power. Reluctantly, he gave the order to retreat. "This is not over," he hissed. "Humanity will pay for this humiliation." The Imperial fleet began its withdrawal, leaving Earth battered but victorious. Cheers erupted across the UFH fleet as the remaining ships regrouped. On Earth, citizens emerged from shelters to celebrate their improbable survival. A new era. The Empire's retreat marked a turning point, not just for humanity, but for the galaxy. The once unassailable Empire found itself under siege from all sides as rebellion spread like wildfire. Alien species, inspired by Earth's defiance, began to fight for their freedom. Back on Earth, President Liao addressed the world. Her speech was broadcast across the galactic network, cementing humanity's place as a symbol of resistance. "We were underestimated," she said. "They thought our weapons were weak, our spirit fragile. But they forgot one thing. We are human, and humans when pushed to the brink, find strength in the most unexpected places. Together, we laughed in the face of fear, and together, we will build a future where no one has to bow to tyranny. As the galaxy celebrated, humanity prepared for the challenges ahead. The war was far from over, but for the first time, they had allies and hope. What had begun as a desperate act of defiance had become a rallying cry for freedom, a reminder that even in the darkest times, a little laughter could light the way.